This video is to take you through Section 120 of the Trademarks Act, which is the provision in the Trademarks Act related to trademark infringement. It's the section you have to apply when you think that there is a trademark infringement. And one of the things you need to do with Section 120 is to decide which subsection to apply to your problem question, because there are three subsections and they are each slightly different. So let's take a look firstly at subsection 1. Subsection 1 says that a person infringes a registered trademark if they use a trademark as a sign that is substantially identical with or deceptively similar to the trademark in relation to goods or services in respect of which the trademark is registered. Okay, so this provision can be broken up into its constituent elements for an infringement question. But the first thing to know is that this is the provision you use, the subsection you use, when you are dealing with marks applied to the same goods or services. Now, the mistake that students make most often is to assume that if goods or services are in the same class, that they are then the same. But classes are very, very broad under the Trademarks Act. Let's take a look, for example, right? Here I've got on the IP Australia website, there are 34 classes of goods and some other classes for services, 45 different classes in total, right? But let's have a look at just how big these classes are. Let's look at class 3, cosmetics, perfumes, cleaning and polishing preparation. So I have opened it already here, and let's take a look, right? It covers shampoo, but it also covers abrasive blasting materials and preparations, abrasive paste, acne cleansers, adhesives for false hair, after sun moisturizers. We're just at the A's, right? And some of these are cosmetics related. Some of them are not cosmetics related at all. So air fragrances, air fresheners, almond milk for cosmetic purposes, ammonia, animal grooming products, anti-aging creams, antiperspirants. We're still just at A, right? Look, this is how long or how many different things are in class 3. Some of these are related to cosmetics or easily related to each other, right? Wrinkle cream, etc. But some are not. Windscreen cleaning liquids, window cleaners, nothing to do with cosmetics. Wax for cars. So we could not say that wax for cars is the same good, same type of good as acne cream or bath bombs just because they are in class 3. Looking at the classes of goods or services is not enough for subsection 1 of section 120. You have to look exactly at the product or the service that you are dealing with. So if it is, let's stick to cosmetics, right? Is it face cream and face cream? Or is it beautician services and beautician services? It has to be the same goods or services for both the registered mark and the potentially infringing mark. This is when you apply subsection 1. If it is subsection 1 that you're applying, Then what you need to do is make sure that the allegedly infringing mark is being used as a sign, right? So this means it is being used as a badge of origin in trade or commerce. And then you need to check whether it is substantially identical with or deceptively similar to the registered trademark. Now, these are different tests. Substantially identical means pretty much exactly the same. When you look at the two marks, you would mistake one for the other if you looked at them quickly because they are basically identical. That is what it means. It's a high test. Deceptively similar is a bit of a broader test, right? It takes into account the context in which you might be exposed to the trademark. You are not comparing the marks side by side. You are thinking about a person, what a person might recall about a mark, right? So if they see the allegedly infringing mark in a supermarket, would their recollection of the registered trademark, right, make them think that these could be the same or that they could be related? Is it deceptively similar or not? Are the words similar? Is the font similar? Are the colors similar? That is what you're looking at for deceptive similarity. But you're only using subsection 1 if it is the exact same goods or services. Subsection 2 is where the goods and services may not be the same, but they are similar or closely related. So they might be in the same class. They probably are in the same class, but they might not be. But they're not the exact same goods or services. So if we go back to our class 3 examples with all the cosmetic products, right? Let's say that the registered trademark is registered in relation to face creams and serum. Now, a closely related service to that might be beautician services, right? Somebody that does facials with creams and serums. It's not the exact same thing because they're not selling the creams or serums with the trademark on them. But if what they are selling is a beautician service and they are using a mark in relation to that service that might be infringing, then we're looking at subsection 2, similar or closely related goods or services. Now, why does the Trademark Act bother to differentiate between the same and similar in subsections 1 and 2? Because the test for infringement is the same, right? It is used as a sign, a mark that is substantially identical with or deceptively similar to the registered mark. So these are the same tests, right? Used as a badge of origin in trade or commerce, and then looking at whether they are exactly the same or whether they are deceptively similar. The important difference for subsection 2 is that after this bit, which I've replicated here on this next slide, just in smaller font, there is another sentence. And that sentence says, however, the person is not taken to have infringed the trademark if the person establishes that using the sign as they did is not likely to deceive or cause confusion. So even though the marks might be similar, if they can show that a consumer would not be confused, would not think that one is the other or one is associated with the other, then they have not infringed trademark. So this gives them a little bit more wiggle room, the potential infringer, right? It's kind of like another potential defense that's not in the defenses section. It's actually in the infringement section. It says, They cannot use a sign in trade or commerce that is similar to a registered trademark if they are using that sign on similar or related goods or services to the registered trademark, right? That is an infringement. But if they're using it in a situation that is not likely to deceive or cause confusion, then it's fine. So this, in a sort of problem question scenario, gives a person, might be your potential client, might not be, another grounds for arguing that they have an infringed trademark because they have not caused confusion. So that is how subsection 2 is different to subsection 1 in substance, right? This is why we have a differentiation between the two. Now, the last subsection, subsection 3, applies where there is a well-known trademark in Australia and a person uses a trademark as a sign in a way that is substantially identical with or deceptively similar to that well-known registered trademark. And because that trademark is well known, people would think that there is a connection between the two goods or services. And for that reason, the interests of the registered trademark owner are likely to be adversely affected. Now, students often get confused with subsection 3 and they want to apply subsection 3 when it's not relevant. And I think they get confused because what they focus on is paragraph A. The trademark is well known in Australia. And they have a problem scenario and they think, well, this trademark seems well known, right? So I must apply subsection 3. But the important thing about subsection 3 is that it applies where the goods and services are unrelated. This is the important part. Unrelated. If they are similar or the same, you apply the other two subsections. And that will be the case in most situations because a trademark owner is only really going to bring an infringement action for somebody, like probably somebody against somebody who's a potential competitor. It's very unlikely that if they are in cosmetics, right, and somebody is in, I don't know, pools, that they're going to bring a trademark infringement action against them for using the word or whatever that they have registered as a trademark. But sometimes they do. Sometimes they do for goods or services that are completely unrelated to their good or service. And that is when subsection 3 is relevant. And this is why we have the extra requirements in subsection 3, because if somebody is going to allege confusion or try to stop somebody using a mark in relation to trade that is completely unrelated to their own, they better be able to show some good reasons why they're trying to stop that behavior, right? And this is why the trademark has to be well known. This is hard to, it's hard to say what is well known and is not well known. It's a little bit subjective, but in general, it really does have to be very well known. And this is why they have to show that there is some sort of false association between the two marks that has happened here and that it has harmed them. It has harmed the registered owner. They have to show these extra things because they are doing it. They are bringing this case in relation to unrelated goods or services. So when you're trying to decide which subsection to use in a trademark infringement question, I want you to really keep in mind that you're looking at what are the goods or services, not just what class they're in, what are they? Are they exactly the same? Subsection 1. Are they similar? Subsection 2. Or are they completely unrelated? Subsection 3.